and the fact that Schiff hasn't blinked since 1992. And he didn't take the news so well. The disgraced Democrat went on TikTok to complain. Behold.
Hello, I'm Congressman Adam Schiff with some troubling news. Today, Kevin McCarthy removed me from the House Intelligence Committee, all for doing my job, for holding Trump accountable and standing up to the extreme MAGA Republicans.
Senator Schiff, given the ongoing political tensions and Trump's actions toward his critics, do you think President Biden's preemptive pardons turned out to be more important than initially expected? Let's first tell people what that means, preemptive pardons. That was pretty unprecedented, right? Before he left office, Joe Biden pardoned you and a number of people who he thought Trump would go after.
No, I take the opposite view. I don't think he should have given the pardons at all.
Really?
No, I don't think he should have, and I was vocal about that at the time.
Can you refuse a pardon?
That's less clear because in the case of the January 6th committee, he pardoned essentially the whole.
Adam Schiff, after being removed from the House Intelligence Committee, ran to TikTok to plead his case. Sitting stiffly on camera, he claimed he was punished for standing up to Trump and extreme Republicans. But viewers weren't convinced. Instead of courage, it felt like political theater. Especially ironic since he used TikTok, the very app lawmakers warn about for its ties to China. Schiff painted himself as the victim, but his polished delivery and unblinking stare made it feel more like image management than principle. And that's when things turned. His TikTok opened the door for one of the toughest grillings he's faced in years. This time not from Republicans, but from Bill Maher, who didn't hold back.
We want to tell people what we're going to do for them. Healthcare, environment, those kind of issues. For example, I've seen you on TV a lot in the last couple of years. I know everything you know, or that you tell us, about the Russian situation. I don't have a clue what you think about healthcare. I've never heard it.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you're for Medicare for all, or improve Obamacare, or get a chicken. I don't know what.
Yeah.
Bill Maher looked Schiff in the eye and said what millions had been thinking. All Schiff ever talked about was Trump and Russia. Not healthcare, not the environment, not issues that actually affect people's lives. Maher pressed him, "What do you stand for? Medicare for all? Obamacare? Something else?" Schiff had no clear answer. That silence said it all. For years, Schiff built his career on one obsession, Trump. But outside that bubble, he had nothing to show. No co-major bills, no legislative wins, just impeachment speeches and cable news appearances. Maher's calm takedown exposed what critics have long claimed. Behind the headlines, Schiff's record is empty.
Is not only a stone-cold, hopeless loser, but he is one of the most corrupt, one of the most shameful, one of the most heinous individuals ever to serve in public office in America. And everything he's devoted his life to has been debunked, discredited, and discarded. He literally represents the face of fake.
Schiff kept repeating the same lines: corruption, collusion, conspiracies. But when the smoke cleared, there were no policy wins to show. While other lawmakers worked on schools, healthcare, or infrastructure, Schiff was on TV playing detective, always promising the next big revelation. Critics said it looked like an obsession, almost like a conspiracy theorist convinced proof was just around the corner. Except this wasn't an online troll. It was a US congressman. Instead of building trust, he burned it. That's why Maher's comments cut so deep. After all the speeches and press conferences, what had Schiff really done for California or the country? The answer was clear. Nothing people could point to. And those cracks in his image widened even more when the talk shifted to the one scandal he could never escape: the Russia collusion narrative. For years, Schiff swore he had undeniable proof Trump worked with the Kremlin. He claimed it was too sensitive to share, but absolutely real. The media ran with it. Headlines painted a smoking gun, and millions believed him.
Looks like you're stalking him. I think in the eyes of the people who don't follow it that closely, which is most of the country, here's the thing about Bob Mueller. He's like the last person, maybe the last thing in America that left and right agreed on. Left and right basically agreed. This is a guy of honor. This is an honest guy. This is an honest broker. Whatever he says goes. Americans are not into details. Don't read it to me, Bob. Just give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down. The fact that he was like, if you couldn't impeach before, how are you going to impeach after?
Schiff became the face of the resistance. always promising the next hearing or report would expose Trump, but the evidence never came. When the investigations ended, there was no smoking gun, just frustration and division. Critics say this wasn't a mistake. It was a calculated lie Schiff repeated so often he may have believed it himself. And when it all collapsed, he never apologized. Instead, he claimed he was being punished for standing up to Trump, but the truth, according to his opponents, was harsher. Schiff wasn't a martyr. He was a politician caught in his own exaggerations. While he chased ghosts, the world was moving on. By early 2020, while a new virus was spreading across borders, Schiff and his allies were still locked into impeachment hearings. Greg Gutfeld later blasted him, saying Schiff's obsession didn't just waste time, it wasted trust. While Congress staged endless political theater, America was left unprepared for a crisis that changed everything. In classic Gutfeld style, he even joked that his evil twin thought Schiff deserved prison for the damage he caused.
I mean, the Mueller report is, at the end of the day, that firecracker that, goes up and then the one that fizzles. Oh, look, nothing. Do you think you guys relied too much on that?
On the surface, Gutfeld's prison joke got laughs, but behind it was real anger. This wasn't just politics anymore. Lives were being lost, families torn apart. While the country needed solutions, Schiff was still performing the same act, treating impeachment as more important than reality. And then came the flip. Just days after being kicked off the Intelligence Committee, Schiff launched a polished Senate campaign. The timing was almost cinematic. One moment on TikTok crying victim, the next in a dramatic ad pledging to protect democracy and fight extremism.
Something's got to be done for Adam Schiff, because he created 3 years of a massive fallacy that did so much damage to this country and made us miss probably one of the most important stories of our lifetime. We were having hearings on impeachment while the coronavirus was exploding. We talked about that virus in green rooms, but we had to do this impeachment story. We had to show these hearings. It's all on him, man. He's got to go. They got to investigate him. They got to hold him accountable. I'm not going to say he should go to prison, but my evil twin will say he should go away to prison for a very long time.
It wasn't a comeback. It was a promotion attempt, and people noticed. Critics blasted his Senate ad for ignoring everything. No mention of the failed collusion claims, his censure in Congress, or years spent attacking Trump instead of tackling inflation, housing, or healthcare. It was the same playbook as always. Bash Trump. Wave the democracy flag and hope voters forgot the rest. But Bill Maher wasn't fooled. On his show, he pressed Schiff about real issues: skyrocketing costs, homelessness, crime. And once again, Schiff dodged with polished lines instead of real answers.
And Adam Schiff announced this morning he's running for U.S. Senate in California, which is guaranteed to boost U-Haul rentals headed for Texas. He unveiled a highly polished and produced political ad right on the heels of getting booted from the House Intel Committee. Coincidence? I think.
For voters already tired of recycled slogans, Schiff's campaign was another red flag. He wasn't running on results. He had none. He was running on outrage, the same outrage that made him a cable news fixture. But the cracks in his playbook were showing. They split wide open on cultural issues. When asked about men competing in women's sports, a topic demanding a clear stance, Schiff dodged. No straight answer, just careful dancing around the question. And that silence spoke louder than words. Voters don't always agree, but they respect clarity. Schiff's refusal didn't look thoughtful. It looked cowardly, and it wasn't the only time. When news broke that a judge allegedly helped an illegal immigrant slip out the back to avoid ICE, Schiff went quiet. No defense, no criticism, just silence. For years, Schiff chased every rumor about Trump with full confidence. But when a real scandal hit, like a judge helping an illegal immigrant dodge ICE, he suddenly claimed he didn't know enough to comment. Critics called it selective outrage. When attacking Trump, Schiff was sharp. When it risked upsetting his own base, he went silent. Then came the hammer drop. Schiff was officially censured by the House of Representatives. Only 26 members in U.S. history have faced that punishment, and now his name is on that list. The reason? His relentless promotion of the Russia collusion hoax. Years of insisting he had proof collapsed into a vote that said loud and clear, enough. Critics saw it not as a slap on the wrist, but as Washington finally admitting the damage he caused. Schiff's trademark stare, once spun as confidence, now looked like arrogance. And while he tried to frame himself as a martyr, outside Congress people weren't buying it. They weren't laughing with him, they were laughing at him. In the end, it all came down to one brutal question. What had Adam Schiff actually done for the people who elected him? Not for cable news, not for political theater, for his district, for everyday Americans. And that silence spoke louder than any speech. Californians are paying the price of rising costs, sky-high gas, groceries eating whole paychecks, and a housing crisis forcing families out. And yet, Schiff has no record of fixing any of it. While his constituents struggled, he spent years glued to cameras, chasing headlines about Trump instead of solutions. Critics say he turned public office into a stage, where performance mattered more than results. Greg Gutfeld torched Schiff's Senate run, warning voters, if you want more lies and empty words, he's your guy. But if you want integrity and leadership, look elsewhere. His point was clear. Schiff hasn't been serving the people, he's been serving himself. From running with a fake dossier to pushing a nationwide obsession, Schiff never apologized when it all collapsed. He just moved on to the next headline, the next soundbite, the next campaign ad. And now, with his eyes on the Senate, he expects Californians to forget the past. But people are waking up. They see a politician built on outrage, not solutions. A man who screams corruption at opponents but shrugs when it's his side. That's not leadership, it's manipulation. And that's why critics say Adam Schiff has become the poster child for everything people despise about Washington. The lies, the grandstanding, the cowardice, and the hunger for power disguised as public service. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one!